October 8, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. The only economic data that was at around 11 o'clock Pacific Standard. It's about right where my cursor is. That's where the FOMC meeting minutes from last month's meeting, where they cut the Fed interest rate by a little bit, came out. Nothing too surprising, so it didn't really move the markets. Other than that, there was no other economic data that came out, and it was a very low volume, low volatility day. That it was actually what I would consider kind of a day to just skip because I didn't really identify any really good setups. And the setups I did identify were what I call almost setups. A lot of them were because a lot of the things I didn't mark is because the signal bar fell short or the price action was it just lacked. So I'm gonna get into the setups and well, get into the day today. And it won't really take that long because there weren't very many setups. So the pre-market, it's a continuation of yesterday. It was like a push up, sell off, another push up. Looks like it was a little bit of choppiness. Pushes sideways starting the pre-market and into the open. You technically have a new high. It's a first entry long here, pullback, second entry long. Second entry long technically has failed here. You could consider this maybe a lower high. Actually, I should probably call it a lower high instead of a second entry long. It's a lower high or a second entry short. But the reason I didn't, these are almost trades. The reason I didn't like it was it's in an area of congestion and the EMA isn't really acting as support or resistance. So it's a little ambiguous on what direction prices are going. Plus, it's pretty early in the day. I decided not to do anything with it. So I call it an almost trade. You can tell right behind it, it was just a little bit choppy. It sold off, break, test the low, localized new low is a first entry short, and then breaks the low again. I thought it might be in a trading range like this, pushes up, hits the top. You could argue there's a one test, two test, three test, triple test. Let me go in and show you what I'm seeing in real time. You could argue there's a triple test, and then it flushes down. I'm looking for a lower high. You kind of get a lower high right here, but it's a doji, so I'm a little suspicious of it. Pushes down. It might have been enough for a scalp, but likely would have stopped me out here because or something down here. I wouldn't really keep my stop up here. And if you did, this candle would have stopped you out. So it's a localized new low. It's a first entry short pullback. I'm thinking it's a failed breakout, potential second entry short, but I already don't like it because of the inside bar. You have a confirmed second entry short, then it reverses up, pushes up. I'm thinking we're moving up this green up channel. So it looks like it was a push up sideways consolidation. Now it's a push up on the green up channel. No clean second entries. They're all just first entries right here. Hits this consolidation area, it's just kind of a range. Breaks to the low side. I'm looking for a bounce off of here to test the high side of this green up channel. Potential fail breakout, but it doesn't. It keeps moving down. So now there's really no clean setup. It's a localized low. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit. There you go. Pushes up. You technically have a first entry short here and maybe a second entry short. This yellow up channel doesn't exist yet. So you might have a second entry short, but it is counter trend to the overall bias right now. The push of the screen up channel has broken and tested the high. This pink up channel has also broken and tested the high. So you do have a confirmed second entry short. I actually wanted a confirmation break below the EMA lower high. So you almost get it because I think I might have a lower high here, but it then follows through with a green candle. So I'm not really that keen on it. Gets a little congested, breaks down. So it's a first entry long pullback, potential second entry long. Second entry long is confirmed right here when it broke above, but the close is terrible. Then you have a doji, and then technically these two bars are inside to this one because they never break above or below. So that just kind of makes me sit and be a little more patient. Breaks below, pushes up. Looks like it's moving down this orange down channel. At this time, I do establish this yellow up channel, one touch, two touch, three touch. Unfortunately, this third touch was, I didn't have this established at the time, treated as a key entry point. And then we have only two confirmations to the high side. So I'm expecting prices potentially to move back down to here. Gets congested, you get dojis, got small bodied candles, pushes up, breaks out of this orange down channel. I'm thinking it might still test the low after a small correction, one leg up, pull back. I'm expecting a second leg up. You kind of had that. You have a new low, first entry short. It's hard to look for a second entry short here because this bar is inside to this green one, and then this doji is inside to this red one, inside to this green one. So it's a little bit, shows you some indecision. Pushes up. So you definitely don't have a second entry short now, and I wouldn't be looking to go short just yet. Pushes to the high side. It's a little congested. Starts pushing up. So it looked like it was a break of this green up channel, test the high, but it also might be falling into this purple up channel. The purple up channel doesn't fit that well yet. It has good confirmations on the low side, pushes up, tests the high of this yellow up channel now. It's a potential fail breakout. Gets congested. Again, it just looks like it's trading range potential right now. Pushes down. I'm looking for a potential bounce off of this EMA and test of this purple up channel. You almost touch it, but you don't. It starts curling back up and testing the high of the purple, so there's really no setup here. It just gets really sideways. Look at these sides of these candles. I also want to mention price action really did slow down quite a bit, so it took a while for the candles to close. Pushes up and out. Tops EMA is starting to act as support, so that's helpful because here was the touch, it didn't touch, and then here's another touch. So I'm actually thinking there might be a setup long. Perhaps this yellow up channel might not be as important. This resistance may not be that important because it might be starting to break out. I drew this potential place holding up channel. It's a new high. It's a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but this is a terrible signal bar to try to go long on. All you can do is hope for a higher low. But by the time it breaks to a new high, I'm not looking for a higher low now because it's already made new highs. Price then continue, hits this EMA and then pushes through. Looks like it's moving down this red down channel, moves sideways. First entry short, makes a new low and keeps going. Looks like it created a measured leg. So visually, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long here. I'm looking for a higher low because I didn't like the follow through. I don't like the trigger bar, and I don't like this trigger bar, and I don't like the signal bar. I'm looking for a higher low confirmation. And unfortunately, you don't get a higher low. It pushes above the EMA. This could be a higher low, but it's a wrong colored bar. And it isn't. This could have been the higher low, except seeing this in real time, I'm not necessarily ready to take a long yet. And then it pushes up. By the time this signal bar by the time this bar closes, it's too high and too close to this potential resistance area right here. So I have to leave it alone. Creates a potential higher low here. So it's like a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, or a visual first entry, second entry, pushes up. I'm still wondering if this yellow resistance might be in play because on a bigger time frame, this looks like a smaller breakout, and there could be still some pushes back down. Although the overall bias is bullish. So it's just telling me it's a little unclear. Look at the size of these candles. This price stamp is 6,800 to 6,802. So it's just chopping within this 2-point range. On top of that, 6,800 is a very strong psychological level where a lot of traders who were long way down here might be taking profits. So there could be a push down. I'm not going to bet on it though because it has broken up higher. So it's just a be very careful area and don't take any iffy trades for me. It's a sideways consolidation, breaks down. It creates this second entry long here. So it's new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I just didn't like that it stopped short of the EMA, right at it or right under it. So I'm looking for a higher low. Pushes up. By the time it pushes up, it's too late to try to take it at the high side because keep in mind, there is this 6,800. It's very crude how I drew it, but there is this potential resistance area. A lot of buyers, a lot of sellers. People want to push it up, keep it going, but there could be more sellers because this is a psychological level here that might want to push it down to take a breath before moving back up. Pushes down, kind of small correction, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it actually looks like a visual first entry long. You could say there's a second entry long here, but again, the EMA isn't being very helpful. You're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You could have argued that there might have been a triple test here, but it's not the cleanest. Especially this signal bar, it doesn't help too much. Pushes up and out. It's sideways consolidation. Technically, you have a new high. This is all-time high, by the way. First entry long, pull back. You might have a second entry long here. You don't get it. You might have a second entry long here, pushes up and comes back down. So it's a failed second entry long. The reason it's an almost trade, not an actual trade, it coincides with this potential support area that used to be a triple test potential, but it's a bad signal bar. But now it's coming back down. Maybe it's a multiple test and another push up, but I just don't like the signal bar. So it pushes through, potential to move back up, but I'm waiting. It picks up and flushes down. So it might have been a trap here, but in any case, this wasn't a clean setup for me to want it to go long or short. Potential fail breakout if this is the low of a range, but it doesn't. It kind of keeps chopping down. So I'm like thinking like potentially prices might actually come back down and test the low of this big yellow range, because you do have a small break here. It could break and test the low. Starts reversing back up, pushes up above the EMA, but it immediately comes back down. So it's a first entry short, pull back. You might have a second entry short here. My concern is this is only from 67.98 to 67.96. This is only 2 points. So to get a 1 point scalp, you're going to run into potentially the EMA. But the EMA itself isn't super reliable today. So it's leaving me a little bit wondering because it is 2 legs up and it never breaks. So it never breaks below this. So it kind of resolves my ambiguity of like, should I go short? Well, this solves it by telling you there's no trade here. Pushes up. This is just choppy. This is just noise. This isn't very clean. Hits the low side. So it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. I mean, you can't really go long off of this doji candle. Normalize this. Wow. Go ahead and squeeze it down a little bit. Okay, cool. Bounces and it presses up. And then keep in mind, this is already at pretty much the last 10 minutes of the day off a very slow, uneventful day that had, at best, almost setups, but no really clean setups. So I just kind of decided it's going to be a no trade day for me. Pushes up to the high. You potentially have a 1-touch, 2-touch, triple test, but it's a long tail. Plus, it's too late in the day to try to make anything happen. Yen is just sideways. I think we're in a range, but it's too late now because it's already in the last minute. Pushes into the close. And as you can see, in the aftermarket, it's still pushing up. So it's a very strong market. Unfortunately, for something like today, this is the entire day. It's very slow, not very many setups, bad signal bars. Just EMA isn't very helpful today. It kind of gives you a general sense and general direction, but it didn't really act as a key entry point for anything. So no trades today. Hopefully that was helpful.